action. Your man. All right, y'all. Didn't know what I was going to talk about, but I want to go on sort of a indie rant, because I think this indie world of printing on demand, YouTube music, and streaming services is a real game changer that brings together film, music, and literature in a new way that kind of has never been done before. And we can sensationalize it by saying, yeah, it's a perfect storm of things that are happening. Or you could say it's just a real good opportunity. I don't know how you want to say it. I just think there's some similar things going on that present itself in the market at the time a lane is opening up. And when I say a lane, that's another opportunity, okay? So let me get into what I'm saying. I really wanted in this video to just vent a little bit of some of the thoughts that I had running through. I didn't really know. I had so many of them that I just figured this would bring them all together. I was talking a little bit about Tyler Perry and his studio, and opening up his studio, and you had a lot of people saying, "Oh, what is Tyler Perry going to do for black people?" And that just reminds me of, like, it sounded like, what is Barack Obama going to do for black people? And to be very honest, not to defend Barack Obama, but just winning the daggone race, and still saying you're black is an accomplishment in of itself. Same thing with Tyler Perry, but even more. I came out of the Apollo Theater in New York, and I was a college student. My first job out of college, was working for the Apollo Theater. Now, mind you, I had worked for a black newspaper reporting at the Apollo Theater in high school. Shout out to Ralph Johnson and the Connection newspaper. But when I graduated, and so I would, all 4 years of college, I'm a half an hour, 45 minutes from Harlem in the Apollo. So I would jump on the New Jersey Transit train, take the PATH train, A train uptown, and I'm there, right? Every Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? And then, as things got tight in college, I would make the top dog competition, but I was covering the amateur night, and I got to know everybody there: Chuck Sutton, Charlotte Sutton, all my peoples, that worked there. And then when I graduated college, I was like, yo, I don't have nothing to do. Went to the theater. My cousin Tony, R.I.P., rest in peace, my man cousin Tony, he was 2 years older than me, so he got a job before me at the Apollo Theater. But I worked there before he did, covering amateur night. And then he ended up getting a job, and he got promoted to house manager. So I was in a real good position when I graduated college. But I got a job working for Showtime at the Apollo, and then my first real good job was working as a wardrobe supervisor for Apollo Comedy Hour, and that was an amazing experience. And I doubled. I worked in wardrobe, and I also worked for the audience. Now, putting myself in that position, I was able to then, and my cousin and I, through his company and through my company, Red, Black, and Green Promotions, was able to work for Hard Rock Live, where we did the audience, we did the VIP passes, we did the tickets, we generated the audience. Then we moved on to doing the warm-up comics, and did that through RBG Promotions. Then he worked for a Nanda Lewis show. He worked for a number of different shows. We worked for internet show. This Is Not a Test with Mark Moran would probably go down as the number one or the first internet podcast back in the 90s. We did that. We We did music videos. We did, you hear the song Better Call Tyrone, Erykah Badu. We did that. Before Dave Chappelle's show, Dave Chappelle had, there was a skit show on Comedy Central where they would take your skits and turn your stand-up and turn them into skits. We worked the audience for that, all right? And then when Def Comedy Jam came around, Def Poetry, we were the ones that had the livest audience in New York. 4,000 people came to the Apollo Theater, and we was able to pack that house and keep it orderly with a very live urban audience. If you see the BET awards, this past BET Hip Hop Awards, you'll see how important it is to have an audience. I mean, each one of those performers are sure you can perform in front of a studio audience anytime, or a performer's supposed to perform to a brick wall, but these performers on BET, they didn't have an audience. Their audience wasn't tight, and you could see it. And it just took energy out of the whole show. It just seemed everything felt tired. When it came to our importance to providing an audience, we were the bomb. You know what I'm saying? We were, the New York audience was the bomb, and we were the ones that did the audience for New York and made New York hype and what it was. When the Source Music Awards came to town, we were the ones that got the contract. So yeah, I worked up Source Music Awards, the one that you hear Tupac and Suge Knight and you see all over hip hop. What is it? The hip hop documentary on Netflix, Hip Hop Evolution, when Snoop Dogg does his interviews, he talks about that. When Andre 3000 and them talk about their experience, when Tribe Called Quest talks about their experience, Wu-Tang, everybody talk about their experience at that Source Music Awards. Well, guess who did the audience? It was Tony Carroll, Jeff Carroll, and the whole crew we brought to do that audience there. So all of that, I say, my first filmmaker, Roderick Giles, my first director, he directed Gold Digger Killer. He and I met at the Apollo Theater. So many people got put on just because of their opportunities at the Apollo Theater. Makeup artists, wardrobe people like myself, camera people. They couldn't get union. They had to have experience, and the Apollo Theater gave them that experience. So I don't want to hear nothing about people telling me what Tyler Perry can or can't do for black people. Unless he hires all white people, everybody working at his theater is getting experience that they can use in some other format, because the music industry and the film industry are not like IBM or a lawyer. You don't have to pass certifications. It's almost like an apprenticeship and a old boy network. So it's all about who you know and what you can do and what you have experience having done. And the Apollo Theater is one of those houses. But there's houses and places like that in every city, you understand? Or every area, somewhere, black people's looking out for each other and giving them experience. So I just think that is an important, I wanted to say that, I wanted to get that off my chest. The next thing I will say is about, and I'm going to stick with Tyler Perry because I want to talk about, technology and the opportunities Tyler Perry has with his theater that Arthur Michelle and Mr. Tim Reed, who are black people who had studios before Tyler, did not necessarily have the opportunity of, right? So distribution is one of the biggest obstacles in film. After producing the film, getting it to the market is a big obstacle that has held filmmakers back for the longest, because straight to video was good, but straight to video going to Best Buy and Blockbuster and Hollywood Video was good, and we did a real good. It was one stage of independence, because filmmakers were able to take their films to these venues. However, it was, you had to buy them. You know what I'm saying? You had to rent them. Hollywood bought my first movie, which was good, and one copy per store. And they may have had 1,000, 2,000 stores around the country. So that's good. It'll get you, 50,000, but it ain't going to fund $1 million movie. Blockbuster was the same way. Blockbuster, had 3,000 stores. Maybe globally they had stores, but they weren't, they weren't giving you weren't nobody walking away from Blockbusters with $1 million, So you kept it that stage of straight to video was an important stage of filmmaker and freedom, right? My film, Gold Digger Killer, grossed, $250,000, right? I didn't see any of that, but it did say that a film, a low budget film, independent film, could generate funds, and that type of funds. And that was at Walmart. And Walmart was a different type of gatekeeper than, say, Sony Studios or AMC or Regal or Edwards, Cobb, any of these. These are the distribution opportunities for companies that do theatrical releases. So for the straight to video, Walmart now is still the champ and the biggest one on there. And, they have more opportunities. They may have 100 DVDs on their rack, whereas a theater may have 10, right? Or 7 is the average. I don't think they go 10 plexes anymore, but, that's how many they have and how long the films stay in theaters. They stay in there for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and maybe if there's a blockbuster, it can go past 3 weeks. But most of the time, it's a real tight rotation. So that doesn't really give a lot of films a lot of opportunity for a lot of films. It gives big opportunity for a few films. So when you have Walmart was upping it to like 100 films. And then, not that they were all 100 new films a week. No, but the opportunity gave maybe 20 films a month. They may bring in 20 or 30 new films a month, and that's more than a theater who may not be able to do more than 8, or how many new films they do a month? 8 to a week or something like that. Maybe there's 16 films or 12 films in there. Who knows? But it's not as many as Blockbuster does. Walmart does. Now we have streaming services, and streaming services are off the chain. Streaming services now allow for infinite amount of films to come out, and you have venues like YouTube, Amazon, where you can just put your movies up there and almost have like a platform of your own channel, and people can either pay for your they can buy the films right off of there and they can rent it. So I just think, in terms of gatekeepers, and even with Tyler Perry, the money that you can make streaming is much higher than what you were making from a Walmart, or you were making from straight to video back in the early 2000s. Now it's limitless. You get these, you put your movie up there and it can go crazy. And right now with Netflix, because it's subscription based, they're like an HBO, they're providing another opportunity. So you have the retail streaming of YouTube and Amazon Prime and other ones where you can pay to watch it per movie, and then you have the subscription services like Hulu, Netflix, and I think I would put Amazon Prime in there. But for those services, they're able to even fund you because they have, like HBO and Showtime, they have subscription numbers, income that they have coming in every month. And so for what is Netflix is up to $8 or $10. So you figure they have a million subscribers. They got $10 million coming in every month that they got to get rid of. You know what I'm saying? And the staff is really low because it doesn't take that much, to staff to operate in-house. You don't have 1,000 theaters across the country that have to be cleaned, that have to have maintenance, that have to be open and closed and people hiring. No, you got one base, you got one office, and that's how you run your Netflix. That's how you run your Hulu. So you got money coming in every month just for that. So anyway, I just think, for somebody like Tyler Perry, the opportunities are different than they were for previous black studio owners. And if he can tap into that, he's really got a gold mine. I wish him all the success in the world. Not to mention he's a creator, so he can go multimedia. He can get into books, he can get into comic books, he can get into games and merchandise because he owns all of his stuff. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to throw that out. I know I sound like I didn't really know all of what I was saying, but that's because I don't have notes. I'm driving, and I'm thinking of this, and this is like kind of off the head. But that's why I say it's like venting. All right, so talk to you later. Peace.